We've partnered to make a difference all over the world. Today, we focus on the crisis right here at home. We're going to look at 3 areas of impact: the high rate of suicide in the north, food costs and nutrition, and empowering communities to meet physical and spiritual needs. You and I have seen it in the headlines. We've talked about it on this program. The high rate of suicide, particularly among Indigenous children, even as young as 10 years old, is shocking. Nunavut has the highest rate in Canada, and experts say suicide among Inuit men is 40 times higher than youth in Canada's south. On top of that, many communities are facing serious health challenges as the cost for nutritious food continues to climb higher and higher. But we can ignite hope. And today we want to share with you some of the resilient stories of those living in remote communities. Stories of those who have suffered physical abuse, depression, and attempted suicide, but yet rise to bring hope to their people. Our goal today is to raise $75,000 to help with the community kitchen, distribution hub for much needed supplies, and suicide prevention. We need your help to meet this goal. It's a great goal, and we can make a difference right here at home. Let's get those phones ringing. Will you join us? We're going to tell you all about it, but if you want to join us right now and make that call, that number is 1-800-265-3100. You can also go to crossroads.ca/north. Well, recently our team traveled to Birch Narrows, Saskatchewan, a small First Nations Dene community located 7 hours north of Saskatoon. Our associate producer for First People's Voices, Crystal Lavallée, visited with Rebecca Sylvester to gain an understanding of the challenges that come with living in a remote community, and also to hear about Rebecca's dream to help her people. Let's take a look.
Families spending time together over a meal is an important part of the Dene community. Rebecca Sylvester and her family are fortunate enough to be able to afford a balanced diet of fresh meat, fruits, and vegetables. But for many less fortunate families, their food options are limited.
A lot of mothers have gestational diabetes because they're eating junk. If you buy a thing of strawberries at the store, it's going to cost you $8. You can buy probably 3 bags of chips for the same amount.
Some of them get just a little cheap little meal. And a lot of these kids come from poor homes. Our store has a lot of junk. It doesn't have what they need for their health.
A 6-hour drive north of Saskatoon, the small town of Birch Narrows, Saskatchewan, has very little in the way of affordable fresh produce and healthy food. As a family support and prevention worker, Rebecca has seen too many families struggling to eat well.
It's a kind of scary situation to be in. If you can't afford the basic needs for your kids, you're living with that fear in your heart that you're going to lose your babies. Are you going to live with this fear for the rest of your life? This is the spot. They used to have a store here.
With the help of Crossroads, Rebecca's dream is to build a community food kitchen along with a garden and greenhouse that will enable local families to have a sustainable source of healthy food.
I am working with a garden expert. It'll be nice to get a lifted garden, but we can grow potatoes, celery, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, you name it, we can grow it. Our children, they're losing their language, they're losing their tradition. I want to bring elders and children and people together where we can share stories. I just have a huge dream of what we can do in this kitchen. When I see a child struggling, I can see my own family and what I went through. And there's no need for that when there's help out there.
Rebecca knows all too well about struggling as a young mother. Her story almost had a tragic ending.
I left home when I was 13 years old. I thought I was in love. I had my first hit. I got slapped. And then it started again. I got hit again over and over and over. I decided to leave him and I started drinking. Then I met another man and we became severe alcoholics. We lived in a tent for 2 years of my life. In this tent, I got beat up many times. I got hit with a shovel. I have a big scar on my head. I got shot at by a gun.
When the abuse got so bad, Rebecca decided her life wasn't worth living. After a failed suicide attempt, Rebecca finally cried out to God.
I fell down on my knees and I couldn't stop crying. And I said, God, please, I need you now. I know I've talked to you many times and I've promised you many times, but this time I need you. I just sat there for a while in the dark and looked at my daughter sleeping, and I prayed even more. And then I felt a sense of relief, like I was tired. I never slept so good in a long time.
Now sober for 5 years, Rebecca has found new freedom and strength to take on this big challenge that her community faces. With the help of Crossroads, Rebecca's dream can become a reality.
I'm unstoppable, I feel. I feel like there's so many doors opening that it's hard to choose which one. And life at home is so wonderful. I can hear my kids laughing. I can actually taste the food. I can actually enjoy my beautiful parents. And life has changed and it's beautiful now. How was your day?
Good. I can see Rebecca's dream coming because Rebecca doesn't stand alone, okay? That's one thing, we always support her no matter what. And she knows that.
I don't believe in don't. I don't believe in don't because I know there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And all the praying that I'm doing, my knees are getting sore, so I hope we get this kitchen.
Absolutely love Rebecca's heart. And you see that all the time. People are changed, their lives are changed, and then they want to change others' lives. And I think, you know, it's been my dream for as long as I can remember, as we've looked at these issues in Canada, to work with people in the communities that are leaders themselves that want to make a difference. And I think that's the right way to do it. I know that God's heart right now for Canada is on this issue of healing Indigenous communities. We need you to join us to do that. We want to follow where we think that God is leading in this country, but we need your help. If it is touching your heart, if you're like, yeah, you know what, I want to do something and I want to partner and I want to make a difference right on the ground, not going through big organizations or governments, but actually working through people with a heart to change their own communities, that's what we want to do. Do you want to join us? If you do, give us a call right now, 1-800-265-3100. You can also go online at crossroads.ca/north. You know, your gift is going to help set up a food kitchen. It is the first of its kind in the remote area of Birch Narrows. It's going to empower the First Nations Dene community to become self-sustaining. Crystal Lavely has gone there. Crystal, you visited this very community. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, by the way. You know, it's extremely remote. I've been to many communities like this in the Northwest Territories. Tell me some of the unique challenges that are facing this community.
Well, Cheryl, just like Rebecca had said, there's a bunch of different factors. You've got a community that is 7 hours away from the major city. So that makes it hard to buy food, nutritious food, at an affordable price. So, you know, Rebecca said it herself, when a community is low income and they're struggling to figure out if they should spend, you know, $5 on a couple bags of potato chips, which is going to feed more mouths, versus $5 on strawberries that won't last very long, then what do? You have to make a decision in that. And that's why they struggle with the high rate of diabetes. And she's just crying out for help. And that's why it's so exciting that we get to ignite hope in her community for other people. So that's some of the challenges. She's already said
I've been to those communities. I cannot afford the food prices in those communities. Talk about low income, like just as any Canadian, if they were to see like a jar of peanut butter for $50 or some of the crazy things that I've seen there, they'd be like, how do you live, right? So we want to make a difference. Tell me about what this community is going to do and what she's already done, because she's already started.
Yes. So one thing about Rebecca that we love is that she is a leader. She has lived life. She's gone through trials, tests, and she is planted in Birch Narrows, and she is committed to bringing this food kitchen to pass. And she said she's already raised thousands of dollars to get the research going. So this isn't just some lady who has a wish and a hope and a prayer. This is a lady who has been doing the grunt work. Her and her father, they actually left the community of Birch Narrows. For the first time, she left her community, took a plane to Toronto to get education at Toronto to get all the moving parts and understanding the food kitchen and how it operates.
Wow, that's amazing. That's how you met her. And you know, I've done this development work for a long time. I know the number one thing that matters is finding someone who understands the culture, who understands the community, and is motivated, passionate, and driven. We have all of that in her. We just need to get behind her. Crystal, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Cheryl.
Okay, if this is your chance, if you want to get behind people like Rebecca who want to make a difference in their own community, we can all be part of that. Make sure that you pick up the phone right now. This is the time for you to give. This is the time, you know, for us to stop saying we don't like the way things are, but we can change it. That number is 1-800-265-3100. You can also go to crossroads.ca/north. Well, our next story is from the Cree community of Onion Lake, Saskatchewan. It's where Pastor Martin Naistus overcame many challenges in his life, an alcoholic and abusive upbringing, and attempted suicide. Today, he, along with church members, are working hard to establish a distribution center that meets the needs of his people.
Martin Naistus grew up in Onion Lake. As a young boy, he was forced to beg for food, surviving the best he could, living a painful life that no child should ever have to endure. A life that forced him to turn his back on God.
Because of the alcohol within my own family, a lot of times I would go and stay with my grandma. But again, what had happened is, different people came and took me away and they abused me. And I never told anybody about that, and it still hurts today. And a lot of times it bothers me. That's the reason why, I just didn't want nothing to do with this God. Because if there was a God that was able to stop that, why didn't you?
A turning point came when at the age of 17, a fellow community member led Martin to Christ. Then at the age of 30, he would take a bold step and move his wife and 3 daughters out of the community, where they all attended Bible school. He would return a changed man.
When I was in Bible school, my vision was to be able to come back and help my people. And now I believe that, God has fulfilled my vision, my dream. Because the reason why is because now I'm really able to really reach out to my people and let them know, hey, I care. I want to be there for you. I want to be able to help you.
But I thank the Lord.
Now the pastor of Onion Lake Full Gospel Log Church, a church he himself was instrumental in building, he is doing more for his community than he could have ever dreamed of.
No, keep going. We need 99 boxes. We're at 30.
Including partnering with Crossroads to launch this food distribution center. Martin's sister, Linda, heads up the distribution center and says the need is great.
I started to look around and see what the needs are. And when I'm at school, I see a lot of kids come to school with hungry, and one of them says that one time he said, I didn't eat this morning and I'm hungry, and is there something that you could give me? They're actually a little crib size.
Through your donations, Crossroads is able to supply food, clothing, and basic necessities to those within the community of Onion Lake who are struggling to make ends meet.
We've been getting so many calls of people coming and say, hey, we heard that there's something brought in for Onion Lake. So again, it really, it really made an impact. In Onion Lake, say, hey, they're really serving the Lord. They really are.
I would love to say a big, huge thank you for helping one of our visions and dreams to come to reality. And I wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, the love that you have shown us, that you cared. And I'm thankful that we are partnering together to reach other people.
Well, she's so right. We can't say that we love others if we don't love each other, or that we have God's love. This is how we show it. Right now, I'm joined by someone full of God's love, Outreach Ambassador Bev Hadland. And Bev, you've been pioneering this work, making connections, and helping people become self-sustaining. Tell me about where we're working.
Well, right across the country, but Onion Lake was the very first community that said, please come out here. And we go where we're invited, and we hear their dreams. We always want to work with the church in the community, in those Indigenous communities. So I always say, God, send me to the mover and the shaker. And Martin and Linda are those in Onion Lake, and their own chief and council built that church so that it would be for the whole community. And they want to not just help their community, but they want to spread out and help other communities into northern Alberta and northern Saskatchewan. So it's not just about their community. We are actually created there sort of a depot, a center to reach out like a spokes on a wheel to other communities. Pastors come in and pick up things. So we're in the shadows partnering with them with their dream and their vision. And it's so exciting. And I've been there about 8 times to Onion Lake. It's all about relationship with these people. They want to be loved and accepted and journey together as brothers and sisters.
As we all do.
Yes.
As we all do. And you've been bringing all kinds of supplies. What are you bringing?
Anything they ask for. So nothing that I think they need, but they said we want to start a food kitchen, so we network across the country, and in comes the food, dehydrated or fresh produce, winter coats, because that's a big thing. And so we've partnered with other organizations and ministries that are helping and getting the transportation out there. So socks was one thing. So not just a few socks, but Socks for Souls gave us 11,000 pairs of brand new socks.
Wow, and it's cold there, so
yes,
they need
and
socks.
to overwhelm them with blessings. The Lord said, under promise and over deliver. We want to, they have had so much pain. How about blessings and blessings and blessings coming upon them? And they cry. Socks, you might say, well, that's so, it's not food. But socks hits the soul. You put socks on their feet, there's tears in their eyes. Somebody cares that they would send us socks. Or then it's food, obviously they need food. Curriculums, we've given them everything that we've developed for the Cree people here at Crossroads.
Amazing.
And they love it.
And you think that, you know, like as Canadians, we've been part of the pain that many Indigenous communities experience as the church. Also as Christians, we've been part of that. So to be part of the healing matters so much. Bev, thank you so much for all you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's been a great privilege and pleasure.
And we need you to be part of it. You know, we have a huge heart to do this. You can see people like Bev and Crystal, and you're going to meet Bill Prankard in just a moment. We all are passionate about doing this and partnering with awesome people in communities like you've been meeting, but we need your help. Will you pick up that phone right now? We have a big goal today, $75,000. And you know how we do that? By every single one of you doing what you can, $10, $50, $100. Hey, if some of you can give $1,000, that would be awesome. But it is going to be put to good use. Will you call that number right now? It's 1-800-265-3100. You can also go to crossroads.ca/north. Well, as many of you, as you know, Crossroads has been partnering with Bill Prankard and the Arctic Hope Project to combat the suicide epidemic in Nunavut. Bill, you are going to join me right now. Thank you so much, Bill. It's great to see you.
It is great to see you, Cheryl.
You are doing such amazing work, and you are working with people right on the ground. I know one of them is Ripa Evick Carlton. She is a trauma and addiction therapist. So people like that, how important is it to work with people right in the community?
Well, you know, the fact is that I've been going north now for close to 50 years. And we're seeing what I've always dreamed about happening now. And it's because of partners from Crossroads. We're changing lives and we're seeing results and communities are being impacted. And I think people hear the news about the bad things, but we've got good things to share because God is moving in the north. And so, yeah, you have to have boots on the ground and people of their own culture. And so Stephen Carlton, Ripa, and others are becoming our team that are doing it.
Love it. We have such great partners, including you, and we're going to bring you some good news in just a moment, but first let's take a look at what's happening on the ground.
In my experience, also as a trauma survivor, it's a very difficult thing to go through. A lot of the communities don't have other services. There's nurses and there's elders, there's caring community members, but they don't have enough services to really help the young people that are going through a very difficult time.
Well, it's tough stats up there, but there have been some good news recently. Bill, what's happening?
Amazing. Well, the secular media is reporting that since 2014, suicide has been declining in Nunavut. I've never heard of this before.
Wow.
And it was 2014 that we launched Arctic Hope with Stephen Carlton and his wife Becky. And in communities that we've really been working in, there's been no suicides this past year.
Wow.
So we are making a difference. And there are countless lives alive now, not just alive and not survivors, but these young people in the North are dreaming again because of the program and because of the encounters with God. I mean, Cheryl, we're the only ones that can do this. The government programs can't transform people. The problem is inside. The war is inside. And Jesus is the only answer. So people watching have to realize how urgent this is. There are lives hanging in the balance right now. And every gift they give goes to changing lives and saving lives. And we believe Nunavut shall be saved and suicide will be stopped. And we're actually seeing it happen.
You made that bold pronouncement. On this show, you said suicide will be stopped in the North.
Well,
and then
God's big.
It's starting to happen, but it's still the highest rate in Canada. It's still totally unacceptable. We have to do something about it. And you are sending Steve this year to 25 communities in Nunavut with the Arctic Hope Project you mentioned. That's really raising up leaders in their own community to try to stop suicide themselves, which again is empowering the local people.
Absolutely.
And Stephen's been keeping us updated on social media. We're going to take a look at one of his updates right now.
We had an amazing presentation there at the school. Boy, oh boy, Brayden, I mean, how do you think it went?
It was insane. It was so good. That was the most receptive school we've had so far. I think we could do that again 100 times.
It's definitely been a change in the young people that we've helped through these leadership courses.
Well, there it is, folks. We just had an amazing time here in Pangertung. We've had three youth meetings. One of them was at the Anglican Church. We had a great time last night with the elders. Elders prayed over these young people, and it was kind of a sign of solidarity that there would be kind of unity between the different generations.
Even just one word from the Lord makes a big difference. And people praying across our country, I know it's making a very big impact.
Really, hope has a way of just changing our lives, and that's really the whole message of Arctic Hope Project. There is 100% hope and possibility for lives to change.
Okay, I love what he says right there, because you hear the headlines, Bill, it's so hopeless, and then he's saying he's up there with these kids. He sees what's happening there, and he said there's 100% hope.
Absolutely is, and that's the exciting thing. And you know, you mentioned $75,000 as a goal today, and people say that's a lot. The government is pouring millions and millions, hundreds of millions into this without any results. And people have to realize, for this small amount of money, I mean, communities are being changed, lives are being saved. And so Stephen has been traveling to every community with a high school in Nunavut, which is extremely difficult with weather and travel and isolation and that. But our next big project this September, I'll be going up with him to Iqaluit with some key pastors from the South. And we're bringing these key young people from every community together in Iqaluit, every pastor from Nunavut together for several days to pour into them and see the fire of God into them and send them back to change their communities. And so this is extremely challenging, never been done before, and we can't do it without people watching. But they've got to realize that what they're doing is important. And the North is important because they're the gatekeepers of the North. Enemy has tried to wipe out this entire generation, but it's not happening. We're making a difference, and lives are rising. There's an army in the North rising up because of the partners of 100 Huntley Street.
I think sometimes you have to have spiritual eyes to see, and you think about a generation that's told there's no hope and that they have no value, and they're in these remote communities. At the same time, there is this attack against them to try to wipe out that generation. When you've seen that happen in the Bible, there is something that God wants to do always when a generation is about to be wiped out. To me, that is a sign that God has a plan for the Indigenous people of this nation, specifically in the North. So I want to be part of that. I want to be part of saving lives. We are thrilled to partner with with you, Bill. Thank you for all you do and for the vision that you bring to bring youth healing and make them healing agents in their own community.
Well, the partnership we have is amazing. And everybody watching can't go, but they can actually go as a partner in support. Because when we go, they go. And the results are there, and God keeps good records.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for all you do. And hey, we really need you to get on board. You heard what Bill said, that we cannot do this alone. It is expensive work, but oh my goodness, it is worth it. I know you feel the same, and I know you want to be part of it. This is the time to call. We're running out of time in the show. So pick up that phone right now, 1-800-265-3100. Also, you can give online. It's so easy. You can even write it down and do it after the show ends, crossroads.ca/north. Well, you know what? So many people we've met in this show are only alive today because of hope in Jesus. They are faithfully serving their people, and as a result, many of these communities have been ignited with hope. Here are a few words of gratitude we'd like to share with you.
It really touches your heart, knowing that there's people that are out there that really cares about people.
There's just no words to describe how thankful I am, because people in our community are, I don't want to say needy people, but there are groups that really appreciate this help that we do get.
I just want to say thank you very, very much, and you people are so down to earth, so happy. The joy of the Lord just sticks out of your faces. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the supporters, 100 Huntley Street, and other supporters that support Arctic Cove.
You are at the heart of a mighty move of God here, and we are going to see historic things happen in this nation of Canada. Suicide being stopped and hope being realized by an entire generation, and really you guys are making it possible. So honestly, thank you for this amazing partnership.
And so many of you have been part of this in the past, and we need you to move into the future. Thank you so much for all you do. We're running out of time. Bev, why does it matter that people respond right now?
Because the Indigenous people are asking for help. They want help, and we want to be there to partner with them. This is their journey, and it's so exciting to be part of it with them.
Love that. Crystal?
Because we have an opportunity to do something that's never been done before. We could ignite hope in communities that have been forgotten, and you know, we're coming and we're saying, you haven't been forgotten. We love you, you matter, and to see them come alive, it's worth it.
Bill?
This is so exciting. The greatest mission field, I think most forgotten mission field, is right here in our nation. We have a responsibility as Canadians to reach our people.
Okay, we need you to be a part of it. Give that phone line a call. The phone line will be up after the program. That number is 1-800-265-3100, crossroads.ca/north. We want to hit $75,000 today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for your ongoing support of Crossroads, a member of the Canadian Council of Christian Charities. You can write to Crossroads, P.O. Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R 4M2.
This program is sponsored in part by DL Deeks Insurance, home of the Evangelical Group Plan. For quality service and great rates on your auto, property, or commercial insurance, call us today or visit our website at deeksinsurance.ca.
It really touches your heart, knowing that there's people that are out there that really cares about people.
There's just no words to describe how thankful I am, because people in our community are, I don't want to say needy people, but there are groups that really appreciate this help that we do get.
I just want to say thank you very, very much, and you people are so down to earth, so happy. The joy of the Lord just sticks out of your faces. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the supporters, 100 Huntley Street, and other supporters that support Arctic Cove.
You are at the heart of a mighty move of God here.